Hey guys, J77 here doing a special audio What's News. Something I haven't done in a while, so finally got some free time, finally can be able to juggle my schedule around, so you're going to see a lot of these come out a little bit more often than not. But I wanted to talk about a few stories that going to be pretty much in New York, but it's still, at least two of them, still can grab the attention both in this city and also internationally, as well as the other states. Something that has recently surfaced, something that is happening right now, and these stories can probably is relatable to what's going on to your city. So if you guys really want to comment on it, I suggest you do. It's something very important, especially this first story I'm going to be talking about, which is a further note why we need to be careful when we have these internships, especially those that's not given by the college. In the article of Metro, which I'm having in my hand right in front of me, Metro, which is, by the way, a free New York paper you can get in the vendors box, have wrote a very interesting article about a woman whose name is Erica Van Rubensway, is suing a designer for unpaid wages she has taken when she was working full time as an internship. Now, before I begin the story, unpaid internship is nothing new in New York City. I'm pretty sure that there are some in other various cities and states as well. Most of the unpaid internships are connected to colleges. What colleges do to order to get a taste of the business world or the major you're trying to get into, they will send most of their students to an internship program where you actually work in an office for 2 or 3, the maximum 4 hours, to get to work on your experience and see what you learn. It's a very good thing to do, especially when you want to make sure your skills is up to par, and as well as getting a first-hand taste of how an office or a hospital or any kind of business you're looking to get into actually works. There are also places, all the jobs that hire internships visa by want ads, and those are the ones that you got to be very tricky because of what they say is internship. They have this idea that, okay, since they're internship, I don't have to pay anybody, and unfortunately, we've been having a lot of issues with that as well. There is laws against that, but a lot of people try to go around that, and as a result, we have this situation. And let me just go on and read this situation right here, and talk about it a little bit some more, as well as you guys giving your own comments on the matter. It says here, after 10 hours of photographing for lookbooks and adding to a website for a fashion designer, Erica Van Rubensway, 24, wondered whether she should be paid for an internship. Van Rubensway sued designer Norma Camilli last week, saying the company violated federal labor laws by requiring her to work full-time without pay. See, that's the key word, full-time without pay. That's something that I will not even go for at all, especially if it's an internship and it doesn't pay anything else. For 3 months, her only compensation was a MetroCard, she said. She took the internship understanding it was unpaid, and she said instead of mentorship or training, she alleged in a lawsuit which demands back wages. Rubensway said what was an apprenticeship was instead helping come off as free. Her court filing is only the beginning. Intern Justice, a group that helped interns sue employers, warned it is the first of similar lawsuits they will issue. Young people think they are getting a told in their chosen profession. Pretty much they tiptoe in the business in a chosen profession. The founder of this intern justice said, many employees are just looking for free labor. Ultimately, the designer hired Van Ronsway for a month. She said when she was abruptly fired. She soon put the advertisement again, seeking another apprentice. She said, but offered no pay. And that's the problem. This is the problem where a lot of companies, and even a lot of people who are just, are managers in the companies, who they are, like, supervisor, director, abuse the internship. And it makes it bad, not only towards their company that which they're supposed to represent, but for the colleges as well. This is something the colleges are very careful in terms of protecting some of their students. All the colleges are not, but there are some colleges that are very, very careful, and they make it very clear you're only allowed to work this many hours at this particular time, doing these particular days, no more, no less. And my school, they made it very clear you're only allowed to work 4 hours. The rest of the hours time is in class. You're not allowed to go in no more than Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's it. The rest are pretty much class and education. And they make it very clear you don't work beyond the 4 hours that is required for your internship. That's it. Other places, when you get it from the papers, you're pretty much in the mercy of what you agreed with. And this is the thing. Anytime you see something you got to work 10 hours or 8 hours, no, you got to ask for some kind of compensation. That's unacceptable. And this is something that has been going on, not just with this story here, but with other stuff going on around the city. And these people are trying to curve that, trying to nip that, because it is abuse of the labor laws that has been put into play, and it is trying to get free labor by using the internship in this kind of matter. And I hope that, if anything, that this lawsuit put a stop to that. And it needs to be put a stop to that, because that's not what the internship is supposed to be about. Internship is supposed to be about learning the craft that you have chose to be in, and that's something that when you have people who instead just use you to hire you for about a month or two and then get rid of you, that's not a good sign. And to me, that's pretty much a waste of time for the person who really wanted to have their foot in the door in a business. Well, that's basically what I got to say about this one. You guys, you can comment if you want. I'd like to hear your opinion on this, and also if this is happening into your state or your city. I'd like to know what you guys feel about this. Do you agree with what I said or didn't agree? I'd like to hear your feedback on this article, particularly this article, because nobody wants to work for free. Nobody likes to be taken advantage of, and clearly from this article, this woman has been taken advantage of in a very unfair, unprofessional way. That's just my feeling on this. Moving right along, after years and years and years of the union fighting the city over this teacher's evaluation plan, it looks like an agreement has finally been met. Again, I'm going by what the news article has said here. It's very, very interesting, very, very important. And I'm also going to talk about the pros and cons of both sides. I know a lot of people say they're happy because finally there's an evaluation system where the teachers who are bad can get fired even if they have tenureship, which has been a big, big issue, a very hot topic for the city, the state, as well as the union itself. It's been going on for quite some time, but now it looks like a deal has been finalized. Dennis Walcock, who is, by the way, the person who is in charge of the education system. I'm sorry, James King is the State Department of Education. He's commissioner there, as well as Bloomberg has pretty much said that it's been finalized, it's been done. And now I'm going to read what the paper have said. I'm going to give my own opinion, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion, especially when it comes to this topic. New York City Public School finally have a teacher evaluation system handed down by Commissioner James King at the State Department of Education. Governor Andrew Cuomo charged at the state DOE with coming up with a plan by June 1st after the City Department of Education and United Federation of Teachers failed to agree on a plan of their own. At the Celebration of Israel parade, Mayor Bloomberg called King plan a huge rebuff to the UFT uh, structurism. However, Michael Murphy, the teachers union president, expressed satisfaction. The New York City Department of Education will not be able to might be able to fire its way to a great school system. Um, Manguro, I believe his name is, told New York One. With King evaluation system, 40% of teachers' evaluation will be based on students' performance and 60% of other measures. According to New York One, the teachers who get the lowest rating system 2 years in a row can be fired even with tenure. So there you have it. The evaluation system is in play. Doesn't look like the union is going to fight it, and despite Bloomberg's not so respectful words for the union, which he does not, he makes no secret that he doesn't like the union. He really don't. He pretty much blamed them for holding back teachers. Some cases I do agree, and there's other cases I simply don't, and that's just why I say there's a pros and cons to this, and I'll get to that right now. I'm happy there's going to be an evaluation system for one reason. There are some bad teachers who just don't want to teach. There are some out there who are just there to collect a paycheck, and that's it. And some teachers don't bother even going over to work with the students. I understand that some of the classes are bigger than others. I'm not denying that. Trust me, the New York City education system is overcrowded, which is why I'm against closing down schools, especially when it's been known that closing down doesn't make anything better. With that being said, I'm kind of curious if this Board of Education is going to give the tools these teachers desperately need to educate these students. Because let's be honest, when the fact that I hear that there are no books in class, there are no supplies in class, there's hardly any curriculum that is updated in class, there's only so much a teacher can do. There's really only so much the teacher can do. Let's be honest. This great city of ours is not known for treating their fellow teachers with the greatest amount of respect, especially when all they do is cut back everything they need to make the school system work in their favor. Instead, they work against their favors, and this is one of the reasons why the union, I agree with, are pretty much upset with the evaluation system. One of the main reasons why this evaluation system didn't work the first time was the fact is that it was flawed. It can give wrong information just based on one or two tests. It doesn't give the overall basis of what goes on in class, and that's the big huge issue, especially when the Board of Education themselves isn't giving them anything to work with, isn't giving them the proper tools, the proper books, when they constantly changing up the passing requirements from 1 year to another year, even to 6 months. So these are the kind of things that, in my opinion, that also need to be addressed. If they're going to take this evaluation seriously, then can you please take the school, the Board of the education system seriously? Because that's where the main thing is. It's not just the teachers. A lot of people want to just blame the teachers for a lot of things, but they only can do so much. If they don't have the supplies and they don't have the backing of the Board of Education, what you're going to expect is going to happen? Most of the teachers who are good teachers, who really want to teach, are going to fail, and they're going to end up losing their job. And that's the thing I don't want to see happen. I don't want to see good teachers who really care for the students, who really care about their profession, who have a passion for their profession, failed. Not because and lose their job, not because they were bad teachers, but because the Board of Education, who always pride themselves as we take education seriously, couldn't even give the books for their schools to teach these kids. And that's something that New York, as well as a lot of other states, need to realize, because this country, I'm being honest, doesn't take education seriously. In fact, there's been a huge backlash against education, and for the wrong reasons. And I'm hoping that, okay, if you're going to have the evaluation system, fine, let's do the evaluation system, do it right, and give these teachers something to work with instead of just evaluating and then that's it. And then, oh, by the way, we're going to do some cuts here, some cuts there, but you're still going to have to teach these kids with your education abilities. No, give them the tools that they need to actually succeed and actually get these kids to where they should be and in the learning grade they're supposed to be, and not the opposite. Because if you look at our statistics right now, it's not good at all. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I'd like to hear your opinion on this matter. You can comment below. Give me your own tales about your school system in your state, in your city, in your country. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about this, because this is very important. I mean, New York has it, but who knows what other states have? They may have something similar. They may not have something similar. But I like to hear your opinion on this, especially when it involves the future of this country. Now on to a topic I decided to hold back for this occasion. I was going to actually do it separately, but I wanted to talk about it as a whole, and that's this new bike program that we have here that had drawn a lot of heated debate from both sides. And in case anybody here wondering what the hell I'm talking about a few months ago, they started to have put in motion a special bike program called Citybikes. What this do is basically a unique service where with your credit card or debit card, you can actually rent out a bike for either a few hours, a day, or a month. The program is in this new phase, is in its trial phase, and and I gotta admit, it is working. A lot of people are using it. They didn't use it too much in the rain today, but they want people out there who are using it, who are enjoying it. The other people are not too pleased about it, but overall, my initial feeling on this Citybike experiment has been pretty positive. A lot of people who is riding it had nothing but nice thing to say about it. One guy explained to me how it actually works, and it is kind of weird how that system is, but according to this, you pay a monthly fee. You take the bike out, and for 45 minutes you're riding around. Now my sister is not very happy with that. He said, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I'm going to pay a monthly fee to ride a bike for 45 minutes? Well, that don't make no sense. And I thought about that. It doesn't make any sense. But when the guy broke it down to me, I can see where they're kind of getting it from there. This guy was in office. He works for one of the offices, and I asked him, was it worth it? He said, oh, hell yeah. He can take it out and ride. You know, I have a monthly thing. I take it out for 45 minutes. But he told me, here's the catch. You can actually put it in one of the bike racks, which is pretty much a lock and chain for those bikes, and take another one, and the 45 minutes starts all over again. So I said, oh, okay, well, basically you can have it all day. And he said, yeah, it's awesome, it's cool. I still don't know why, if you're paying a monthly fee, why they would just give you 45 minutes, but I guess they want to make sure nobody's taking the bike. And believe me, there's so much gadget in that damn thing that for a fee to take that bike and actually do something with it, you are the man. That's all I gotta say, because there's no way you can actually. First of all, they make it almost impossible you can't steal it. Two, you're not gonna steal the wheels. You're not gonna steal the chains, and they designed it where the stuff that they do take and strip, if you manage to get through all that hassle, you can't use it for no other bikes at all. That's how it's pretty much molded into that frame of the bike. And trust me, they do have trackers, because no sooner did the bike program starts, somebody went to the van, took the bike, and spun off. The bike was recovered. The person was not arrested. And to be honest with you, I don't think the city is going to pursue it any further. This is a private thing that's going on. That Citybike is doing. But overall, it's got the backing of the city, and this is one of Bloomberg's things that just basically to reduce traffic and get people to ride bikes, make it more healthier city. That's something Bloomberg is pretty much leaving as his main legacy. From the beginning, we had a lot of people against it. A lot of people was complaining about it, and for good reasons too. That I had mixed feelings with it. One of the major complaints that happened is that they're putting the bikes, these bike racks, these stations, which is very huge, in areas where there's a narrow street or a narrow sidewalk. And the major complaints is that, hey, you're blocking the door. This is a fire hazard. You can't be doing that. And believe it or not, they were right. And believe it or not, the city tried to fight it, saying it's not a fire hazard, even though they knew it was a fire hazard. And in fact, a lot of people ended up suing the city to get it moved, which they won without having to go any further to court. They actually moved it and placed it. And this is the thing that I think that this is where I was kind of uncomfortable with. So far where I'm living at, the bike racks is in a very wide street, so it's not really blocking the street. You can still go in. If it's in the sidewalk, it's also wide. They're also near parks and other places where they have wide spaces. So they are, they are making sure that it's not going to become a hazard. But that was the main issue. The main issue is they are throwing these things everywhere. And then I take in consideration of, is this going to block the doorway? And God forbid it's going to be a fire. You got this big steel of bike, which takes off a good chunk of space, blocking the exit. And that was the mainest, and that was the thing that the city did, to their credit, actually finally say, okay, we're not going to admit we were wrong, but we're going to just kindly move this spot to this spot. It is not cheap, these bikes. I will say that I did look at the price. 25, 45, 99. That's maybe that's not nothing, but it is, because one, you're using a credit card, and the moment you use your credit card, this is something people need to understand. There's going to be a hold in some of your money. $100 is going to be hold. It's going to hold it. They're going to hold that. Whether they give it back or not, I wasn't too sure, but I know they're going to hold $100. And God forbid if you lose this bike. This is a thing that they made it very clear. If you lose this bike, you're gonna pay $1,000 plus maintenance fee, which they haven't even explained. And I'm looking at that, I'm starting to scratch my head. Said maintenance fee, what maintenance fee they're talking about. So I really was like, I don't know about this one. They also said don't leave your bike unattended. And look, I don't think that anybody's gonna leave their bike unattended. And really, to be honest, there's no excuse for anyone leaving it unattended. The program is basically for people who wants to get to point A to point B in the fastest amount of time. They're gonna use it. They're gonna go to the nearest bike station, click it, and go on with their business. For those who just want to take a ride around the park, like tourists does most of the time, they probably use that for that, and then go back to the nearest station, click it, and they're done. There should be these bikes are not meant to be, I'm going to go run to the store, I'm going to leave this out there and come right back. Because when you do that, the chances are that somebody's going to go up with your bike. And that's why they said don't leave your bike unattended. For me, I'm accepting this. I'm not going nuts about it, but I accept it. And it's making people happy, so God bless them. I got nothing against it. To me, if I'm love my bike that much, I'm buying my own bike. I'm buying my own chain. I'm buying my own helmet. So to cut the hassle. So if anything happens, God forbid it gets stolen, $8,000 I got to pay out of my pocket, because if it gets missing, it's gonna be paid out of the pocket. The bike has an old style to it. It's kind of weird. In the one hand, it got these gadgets, these lights, these blinkers, which pretty much I believe they're trackers. It's 3 gears, which is kind of weird because I would think it would be 10-speed, but no, it's 3 gears. And there is a little basket that you can actually in the front of the bike where you can put your bag in and move on. So it's kind of cool. It's blue with the Citybike logo pretty much plastered on it. It has serial numbers on it. They have blinkers, so when you take the bike, the blinker starts to activate. So it's the design is weird. It's heavy as hell, I can tell you that. That bike looks extremely heavy. So it's sturdy. That's definitely you won't have a problem with. How you get the bike? I think they get a key card design look. You slip into the card, the bike on the latch unlocks from the front of the bike. Take the bike out, ride it on, and when you're done, you go to the station. You just place the bike on the latch. You got to wait until a certain light comes on, and it clicks right back on. So that's how that works. So that's pretty much the gist of that program. Like I said, for the tourists, I have no problem with it. People who work in offices who want to go to one spot to another and they don't want to take a train or a bus or walk 30 minutes, they want to bike it. 5 minutes later, they're there. I don't have a problem with that. Most people since the bike thing started, is actually coming around. The first day started on Memorial Day. I barely saw anybody riding it. People were sitting down on it, but it was just one day. After about the 4th day, almost half the rack was empty. I'm like, where are these bikes going? So obviously people are using it. People are, riding around, and I see people doing it, and they're having a good time with it. And if that's rock your boat, God bless you. Go ahead and do it. But to me, it's just not for me. I'd rather have my own bike my own wheels, and just enjoy myself from there. But that's just me. And I'm kind of curious of one more thing, because I'm pretty sure we're not the only city that's doing this. So if anybody else have a similar program like this, I'd like to know, because I know the Barclay group. I believe in certain countries they also have a bike program. I'm not too sure if they have ones in other cities in the United States, but I know they do it. So I know this is not Citibank is not the only one who is doing this program. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, especially those overseas. Did you like this kind of program? Do New Yorkers here like this kind of program? Give me a reason why. I'd like to hear what you got to say. And I'm going to move on and talk about this here. Just pretty much brief. It's not that bad, but I like to give a little thought on this, especially those who live in New York. We had one of our major parades here. The Gay Pride Month kicked off on Sunday, as you all know. It was in Jackson Heights, the first of 7 parades to be held across the 5 boroughs, which was a lot of them. There's a lot of parades, and I lived here all my life. And this is like the first time I'm hearing all these parades coming out of nowhere, because I'm not looking for these parades. We had the Israel parade yesterday, and we also have the Gay Pride, which actually was in full effect yesterday, which was Sunday. And we have some mayor race going on, and a lot of the candidates. One of the candidates was the Council Speaker Christine Quinn. She is running for the for City Hall, along with other candidates, both Democrat and Republicans. One candidate, which I was actually kind of curious if he was going to run. He announced his official run last week, and I was kind of worried, and there's a good reason, because what has happened about a few years ago with one of his, I believe, interns. His name, I believe, Anthony Weiner. Yeah, the name alone. I'll get to that in a minute. Apparently, and before I go on, he has his resume is pretty good. It's pretty solid, but he ended up having to resign because, for reasons I do not know, he thought it was a good idea to show his junk, to to photograph his junk and email it to one of his female workers who was working for him. This led to a huge scandal. He ended up resigning, and for a while we haven't heard from him. He slowly started creeping back up into the political spotlight, and now it was like a big rumor that he may run for mayor of the city. Now, he made his official announcement. He is running. Whether or not he will get the Democrat nominee is a big question. And I say big question because, unfortunately, even with his resume, which is pretty good, people are not going to focus on that, especially in this city. They're going to be focusing on the sex scandal. And it was no sooner did he announce his race for mayor. New York Post do what New York Post does. They pretty much remind people of the scandal by pretty much saying, hide your children. He's running for mayor. He's looking for some new help. So we all know where I was coming from. And this is something that I fear is going to be a very, very big distraction down the road. And to me, so far, he hasn't had the numbers. I mean, he has 19%. People think it's kind of okay. But to me, it's not enough to gain the Democratic nominee. For reasons, even though I think Christine Quinn is strong, I don't think she's strong enough to beat Thompson, and that's kind of funny because Thompson was the Democratic nominee when he faced Bloomberg when he was running for mayor. I don't know if he's going to be strong, and I don't know if she's going to be strong enough to beat him. In fact, unless something miraculous happens, it's still early. Right now they're positioning themselves for this race. They position themselves pretty much in September. We pretty much will get a better feel of who is running for who, and right now they're just trying to get as much leverage. You see this councilman, which is showing up in this parade, showing their support. You have the Republicans also presenting themselves. So everything is going pretty much as, let's see who can get the most street cred before actually, boom, putting their blueprint right on Easy Street. This is going to be a very nasty race. Okay, um, and a lot of it has to do is that we had Bloomberg for 3 terms. Uh, like it or hate him, he did a lot of things that were actually beneficial to the city. There were also a lot of stuff he did do in the city that also hurt the city and actually hurt his reputation. But overall, he does leave the city pretty much better when he took over from Giuliani. In business terms, he did. The question is now, what are these candidates going to do to make the city move even further into the future? Because that's the big key right now. The last thing any New Yorker wants to do is elect somebody who's going to bring this city backwards. And that's one thing that I think a lot of New Yorkers are very, very concerned. No one in this city forgot 1960, 1970, 1980s, and how tough it was to live in 1960, 1970, 1980. People still got that in the back of their heads. In the 1960s and 70s, this city was dead broke and deadly to live in. It was very, very dangerous at times for them. During the 80s, during the Ed Koch years, Ed Koch got us out of financial ruins, but we were still not a safe city. In fact, there were people poking fun of us, saying that New York is a good place to visit, but I'm not living there. There was a reason for that. Giuliani, that's when things started to get back. He made he made a family-friendly tourist in New York. He pretty much rebuilt the safety. He pretty much made it. He pretty much was responsible for making the police state. He really did clean up the city, for better and for worse. He did clean up the city, and that's pretty much his legacy. And Bloomberg continued that legacy, but in a more business manner. He ran New York City for 3 terms like a business, and it reflects that. This is a corporate-friendly city, and that was all Bloomberg from right there. Now the question is, what will any of these candidates will do if they get in an office? What should we expect from them? And everybody's going to be looking at these candidates because there is concern about these candidates. These candidates are not a shoe-in. These candidates are not a guarantee to win. Thompson's not guaranteed to win, even though he's probably one of the strongest because people recognize him, and you pretty much hope he have learned from his lesson the last time he ran. But there is concern, and there is so much concern that people are wondering if these candidates are all there. But, like I said, we're still early. We still got a chance to fill them out. We're gonna still see who can actually benefit the city more, and hopefully, before it's said and done, we pick the right man or woman to actually lead New York further down the road. But it really all depends on where their stands are, what their political views are, how they plan to balance the budget, which is always going to be big news in this city. And these are the things that I think is going to be a major issue down the road. But most importantly, how would you continue what Bloomberg and even Giuliani had set up? Because again, we don't like those 2 guys, which is currently understandable. They have done a lot of things that, pull your hair out. They did leave a strong legacy that even I can say, yeah, they kept the city afloat. They kept the city going strong, and it's been pretty much have not looked back. This is like almost the golden age of city all over again of New York. It is the golden age. It is pretty much a booming city, and people want to keep it booming. So that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. That's pretty much all the topic I gotta say right now. Keeping it in the New York style, but most of the topic I spoke to would probably ask the last one. Last one, I'm not gonna ask too many people to comment on. If you do, I'd like to hear your comments on it. But for the other ones, the teachers' evaluation, the internship, I definitely want to hear your opinion on this because that is very important. It is very, very important. And I'd like to hear your guys' opinion as well as any experience of your guys if you have done an internship, paid internship, and what you guys feeling about this. And as always, if you guys have any feedback, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, put it in the comment section. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon.